Welcome back to another fantasy video with me, JD. You're joining me for the round 12 review. That's right, we're into the first of the 4 rounds, and we started off with a mega stinker. So we dropped to 1762, dropped me from about 2,900, I want to say, to 4,200. So would be my largest single drop round of the year so far, I would say. And having a look at some of the scores on field, you can see why. But I will say, look, if you're in the same boat as me, let's not panic. We are playing through the next 4 weeks, and I had a fair few, premiums on buy this round: Cheezel, Cherry, Kircher, Whitfield, LDU, Powell, Heaney. That makes as many as 7, depending on how loose you want to be with the definition of keeper or primo. So hopefully that puts me in good stead for the other buy rounds, especially the round 14 and 15 buys, which I think other people will find harder, hopefully, and that's what will make up the ground and really come storming in. But on top of, already missing a fair few plays this week, I still fielded 20, but we just had a lot of poor scores this week. Dawson 60, Butters 74, Oliver 86. I played a very heavy rookie forward line, so it was just so many premiums out. So look, just some shockers, and I normally wouldn't keep a 110 vice captaincy. I just had some bad vibes because originally it was going to be Dawson as my captain, and we decided to just play it safe, keep the 110. And I'm fortunate I did, because really Flanders 113 was the only other score I had after that game that came close, and I wasn't going to put the C there. It was going to be on Dawson. So at least I saved myself 50 points in that one. It could have been a disaster. But yeah, this is both a mix of having maybe less premiums playing this week and poorer scores and just a massive rank drop. So hoping that we can make that up in a few weeks' time. I should just quickly cover off what the actual trades were in the end. So Sweet, Howes, and Richards out. And look, Sweet dropped. Howes dropped and Richards injured, so 3 kind of red dots or forced outs there into Harrison, who probably wasn't the best pickup. Day, who, if you'd gone Crisp or Salem, you probably would have been happier. Although he looked good, to be honest. Just weird game with Hawks dominating. And then Kane, who looked good, but struggled with time on ground. So that was the week that was. Is anyone really to call out or get stuck into too much? Sexton's just a joke how good his scoring's been since his comeback, so we'll make that money and flip him on. Martin was okay, but he was really streaky. His first and third quarters were felt like 90 of his 100 points, and the second and fourth he did bugger all. Dawson had the pre-game test, played, but not very well. Hopefully he gets up this week for the Tigers, because you'd imagine that's where he's, a transition scoring style game is going to help him. Butters got the attention from Sincotta against Blues. Fought through it okay and did all right, but that wasn't pretty watching. Steele, I still reckon, is cooked in some form, to be honest. He's been very up and down. I think this 122 is a bit of a fluke. I think this is more what we're going to see. Someone I'm considering moving on during the buys, just given the money on his head. But when I've got Oliver that I'd like to move on as well, a little bit hard. Bont was huge. That fourth quarter was insane. So I think he's now up to about a 110 average since I bought him in, which I want to say was for this Hawks game here. A couple of poor ones in the middle, but hopefully we see more of this going forward. Oliver, he's been scoring okay late to bring this up, but not amazing. I'm interested to see how he goes against the Pies this week. I think he could still come good, but just not as good as what we'd like to see from him. Day I mentioned was good, but not great. Sharp's going to be a hard one to trade because his last 5 games have been huge. Lowest of 80, couple of 100s in there. Just mega cashed in now. He's up to 725. He could probably still make a little bit more on this. I assume his break-even's actually achievable. Dog's not the worst matchup, I don't think, but that's a lot to have on buy. One to consider moving on. Although, the thing is, you don't have to, right? You don't have to, but I'll, definitely, if I need the money, I'll move him on this week. Kane makes some cash. In the rucks, I think English probably put together one of his better games since he's been in my side. Although he was okay. Definitely one of the better games. So more of that, please, Lou. This week, tough matchup against Big O, so probably not expecting that too much. And then Cherry, does he play? Oh, has he got Flynn this week now? Unlucky. Flynn looks all right. And then in the forward line, Wilson got a HIA, but it's tricky. He could be moved on. He couldn't maybe stay. I don't know what his break even is. Probably achievable, but yeah, Reed's got suspended for 2 weeks, so he's got to go. Unfortunately, he's with the bye. He misses the next 3. Dempsey, big spike of cash gen. He was one that was at risk of getting moved on this week, but I think I can hold it one more and just get the extra money out against Swans, even though I'm not expecting a big score. Fraser was okay. Yeah, Harrison we already discussed on, just like meh. All right, so let's move on to round 13. Look, I think like players to target coming in off the bye, like Zorko, Fisher, McKercher if he plays are probably the ones. Goulden, who is my trades this week. Let's just move down to those. So Fisher preaching, doing what I preach. I don't know. And Goulden coming in. I've currently got Reed, Wilson, and Closey out. Wilson's maybe the one I could move. How much cash is through me? 37. So actually, if I'm not moving on these 3 or getting a more expensive rookie, then Sharp has to go out, which I'm happy to do. And then Errol comes in pushing for that high time on ground. Love that for fantasy. And then Blight is the one that I've got in here. So if you watch my Supercoach video, you will have heard me talk about the mid-season draft picks a little bit. But Blight is intercepting. You also would have heard me cough a lot and almost die. So Blight's an intercepting key defender. Averaged like 80 in Waffle. Debuted in the Tigers 2s. On the weekend had like 20 touches, 9 marks, something like that. And with their injury list and Lafau now rupturing an ACL as well, Bolter moving forward, Blight coming in and taking Bolter's spot, definitely a possibility. So don't rule him out debuting this week. Maybe it's optimistic for me to have him in there, but this would be what's required for me to hold Sharp, although I might still end up then trading Sharp next week. So it's not necessarily obvious that I would do this. And if I was to like trade Sharp over one of these, I have to weigh up whether I want to risk losing money in a Wilson or Closey or like just hold Reed for another week, even though he won't be playing. But I won't, lose any cash, and I'd probably consider that. Okay. So yeah, so other trading targets. So apart from Goulden, like I think you could look at Dunkley in the midfield or even LDU, which is kind of funny because he's been atrocious whole own for most of this year, but then these last 3 games in the lead up, I honestly don't know if you can do it, but I'm sure some will be desperate for a cheaper price point and jump on. In the rocks, it's Cherry or Grundy, but I don't think either of them are R2, so I wouldn't desperately do it. But if you've got like English and Moyle and that's it, maybe if Moyle doesn't play, but you can cover those this week. It's not like dire. And then in the forward line I mentioned Fisher, Zorko. They're the 2 that I'd be looking for. That's pretty much everyone this week worth considering, I think. And the rookie, so Blight. Otherwise, I think you're looking at Dawson as probably one of the better options here. Not, I can't remember what his first name is. The other Dawson. It'll be here, won't it? Like Caleb or something? Callan. I was never going to guess that. And then Will. So, those are comparable names. So Will, if he holds this week, then I think that's one you could consider as well. Beyond that, there's not a ton. There's honestly not a ton. I mean, like Dean, you could look at. He's now 310. For me to get Dean in, it would mean trading, Sharp, and then it probably compromises my other week's trades. And it's probably worth just showing you here the buy planning I'd done in the lead up to this week. Oh, a little bit tricky because my face is in the way. Let's see if we can move that out of the way. Well, we don't need this round 12 trades. We've already done round 12. As you can see here, Fisher, Goulden, Dawson in for Reed, Sharp, and Dempsey. Now, Dempsey I'm going to hold another week, and we're moving. This is why I like buy planning is very interesting, because this is, I planned this last week, and it's already moved, because I probably won't trade out Sharp or Dempsey, and I probably will trade Wilson and Closey, so move those forward. But then the ins look the same. It's just with whatever rookie spot that is. It gives me more than enough playing this week, and as you can see, like with these trades I've now got here, I've got 6 defenders and a thing, so 7 really. I've got 8 in the midfield playing plus Thomas. That makes 9. 2 here. That's 2 is 2. And then in the forward line we've got Shipping Harrison holds another 7. So 22 plus 3 emergencies makes 25. I'm flush for this week. Don't need to worry about that at all. But it's more about this round 14 and 15 where I need to make up. So I want to make sure that I've got good numbers playing with those. So just to give you a glimpse of what I'm looking at. So Zorko, I think I'll wait 1 week just to see how he goes against the Dogs. But if he looks good, then he's probably a must trade in against the Saints. Green, I also just want to give 1 week to watch and see how he comes out of the bye. But he's at a very nice price point now where jumping on makes a lot of sense. Now, you will note that I'm actually full on midfielders at the moment. So bringing in Green is a little bit of a funny one. But I think between Steele, Day, Oliver, there's probably one of these I want to trade out come the end of the buys. And I haven't really, I've kind of put in some like loose planning here. This is actually Steele for Sarong. But what I think will actually happen with these spots, which are kind of just made up at the moment, is one of Steele or Day will end up getting traded out for someone in another line. So potentially like another forward or something like that. Defenders I'm okay on because I've got these ones. Yeah, plus like Young instead of Sexton. Mids I've already got 8 after this week. The rucks are fine. I need to get Gorn still from Cherry. And the forwards, it's where we're definitely light on. So we've got Fisher and Powell. Let's get this price sorted. Where's the price sort button? But I'm still missing a couple of forwards there. So that's probably where I need to prioritize coming out of the buys, is just getting a couple more forwards. And so I could trade one of these extra mids into a forward there. I'm not sure who it's going to be at the moment, to be honest. Ryan, I cannot believe you've been a bad miss. I owned you in Supercoach all year too, but this last 5 games, crazy. 160, 105, 126, 144, 142. Anyone that's jumped on him has absolutely flown up the ranks, no doubt. That is not me. Ryan and Zorko being like the top 2 most expensive that I don't own is just crazy. And then Gorn, who's been a pain all year. Sorry, we were talking about forwards, weren't we? So who do we want here? So Dillmore's been good. Obviously had a huge game on the weekend, but up and down. GWS and Tigers before the bye is nice fixture. Oh, this is so dire. Like Bolton after his head knock might be a shout, but he's got play this week after the bye, maybe. Lee Jackson, I don't know, maybe. Boak, maybe. At least these players have got good buys. Rankin, once he's back from his injury, maybe. This is just ugly. Baker, it's been a very hard own. So yeah, for me, I've got to get Zorko in here. That's probably why I haven't been like super keen to trade up Tom Power, even though he hasn't been great. Like, there's just nothing else at the moment. And then fill it out with one of these other guys. If you got a McRae, I've got no idea what you do. Sorry. He had like a decent-ish score on the weekend, a 97, but it wasn't very convincing, if we're being honest. Still missed his break even. He's sub 700k. Wow. And they still got Liberty return too. Yeah, forwards are still really tough position in this format for me. So the other defender that would be like good to get is probably Clark. He's now nearly 900k, but the game style for Freo the last month's been just so like insane. 141, 128, 151. There's just disgusting chip mark stuff going on. 8, 8, 15 marks a game, averaging like 30 touches, no doubt. What are Ryan's marks? 13, 11, 18. Just gross. Holmes, I really like. He had a good game. If Bonner's finally dropped, Wanganeen Miller, I like as well. Lots of good defender options. Don't need defenders, I need forwards. We probably look at moving Whitfield on maybe after he's after the bye rounds are finished as well if he doesn't improve. Okay, so that's the team where it's at. It's not a very nice team, if we're being honest. There are better teams out there than this one, but yeah, just play for the buys in totality, and let's hope some of the premiums that scored poorly last week can bounce back big time. I need it. Yeah, I price sorted right. I don't want to commit the crime of having an unsorted team. The horror. Okay, well, that's everything from me this week. Actually, pretty short one. Not a ton to talk about. Oh, vice captain, captain, I guess is the last thing to go on here. And thank you for those that keep telling me that like you can see the matchups down here. You can. I'm just not used to looking at it like this. I still like the Supercoach one. It's like just easier. Like my eyes trained for it. So there's not a ton of matchups I really like in here. I'll go to DFS to see exactly what's going on. Just remember the fixture difficulty planner in here is not accurate, so don't look at this. But yeah, Dawson into the Tigers have been leaking transition points. Is one that I would normally target, but I mean he had a poor game. He went 60 to 155 against Bombers, so it could be the same 60 to 155. So it's an option for Dawson, but don't love it. Don't love it. Oop. And then beyond that, there's really not a ton. Like Hawks have been better, so Tom Green, if you haven't, has been is interesting for me. LDU, there's no way I've got the faith in it. Saints, I don't have faith in Steele. So I think we're going back to the well in Dacos. And then for me, my vice captain will probably be same as Supercoach. I'm looking at like a Goulden on debut or a Heaney. And that's BCC this week. Thanks always for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you have a good week. Peace.